Welcome, everyone. This is the Engineering 101 Build Your Future presentation. I am your host, William. Unfortunately, my partner who was supposed to be with me is not able to attend today, but he did contribute a lot to this presentation, especially the really cool graphics of this presentation. So next slide, please. Just a disclaimer, the information presented is based on research conducted by our presenters. We encourage everyone to participate in the discussion and do your own research as well to be informed. So, quick icebreaker. I have a question for you all, and especially those in the Zoom chat. Have you ever broken something and tried to fix it?
Oh, yeah, too many times.
Yeah? Oh, too many times? Yeah. So, one of the core concepts of engineering is understanding how something works or functions. One example that I'm going to give to you all is this pen right here. Oops, I broke a rubber band. So this pen right here has a spring and a pushing mechanism and a cap to sort of conceal the ink inside. And I jumped the spring, but now it looks like it's in pieces as of right now. I'm going to show it to the Zoom participants right here. So it may look broken, but in the eyes of the engineer, it is repairable again. Because an engineer knows how this pen works, he is able to reassemble the pen without too much problems. And the more times he does it, the easier it becomes to reassemble the pen. So, next question. Has anyone ever used the items around you or the objects around you to create something for your convenience? I'll give my own example. Unfortunately, my rubber band broke, so I can't really show you how exactly it works, but I will be as descriptive as possible. So, I play a lot of games. I'll admit that. And whenever I play these games, sometimes I need to do something else in the middle while I'm in the middle of playing. So there are some times where in my games, I have to hold one button down for an extended period of time. And then I thought, well, this is something that a lot of people who play games do. What they do is that they grab their controller right here, they get a rubber band, they tie it around whichever side of the handles. And when they tie it, they put it on the triggers. That way, it's pressing a button and you can do whatever you want hands-free. So that is an example of using objects around you to create something new, aka innovation. And the two concepts of engineering, which is basically the theme of this presentation, is innovation and problem solving / fixing or creation. Next slide.
Let me go.
All right.
Sorry.
So what exactly is engineering? What exactly is this career? So engineering is a science and it is part of the part of STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So engineering is essentially a science. Next, please. So engineering is the application of math and science to solve problems. There are various types of engineering, and in each of these types of engineering, you are required to have creativity and knowledge in the sense of knowing how something functions so that your specified work, when it asks you to fix something, you're able to fix it. So our first example is chemical engineering. One great example is our power plants, where it handles radioactive material or other chemicals. And it also can be applied to something as simple as air conditioning as to how aircon transfers air into colder air. Next, we have civil engineering. You guys remember the casino that's for some reason still being built? Yes, that is one example of civil engineering. As
no one was building it anymore.
I thought so too. But the casino is a great example of civil engineering, as a bunch of people group up together to start on a project or a building as requested by its owners. Next, we have electrical engineering. So we often think that electrical engineering is something as simple as like, you hire an electrician and they come fix your wiring in your house and the installations. However, electrical engineering is a little bit more than that. It also has to deal with, even automobiles. So the latest Tesla is an electrical car. So electrical engineers are specified to not only follow the schematics of mechanical engineers, but to also implement their really complicated source blueprint of electrical wiring to make the car run only on electricity. And finally, we have mechanical engineering. One of the most common forms of mechanical engineering is cars and automobile, but it can also include, aeroplanes, trains, pretty much anything that has an engine can move is related to mechanical engineering. And it's also one of the most popular types of engineering on island. So let's talk about careers in engineering because, we all want to, for those who are really enthusiastic about becoming engineers, we do want to figure out what we want to do in the future. So what opportunities are available? Next slide, please. So there are many opportunities here and more off island, but that's not to say that we don't offer enough, but we can get you started. But I'll elaborate on that a little bit more later. So according to research done by the CNMI Office of Public Works, give me a second because this is something I must quote. According to the CNMI Public Works, there is a shortage of workers in the construction industry. The Department of Public Works Highway Division proposes the development and education of underprivileged, minority, disabled, and women students in a recognized higher education institution for the CNMI. So not only are they looking for local civil engineers, but they're also looking for underrepresented engineers. So it's a great opportunity for any and all types of engineers to join. And you may not notice it, but in our island, we do have each of the engineerings that we have discussed: civil, chemical, electrical, and mechanical engineering. Now, before you even get a profession in engineering, you need to have the experience in it. Because one thing that's important is that employers seek experience. All right, there is that central dogma or that sort of paradox of, hey, we're going to need some experience from you in order to have you work with us. But you applied there in the first place to get experience. So, there's that paradox. But not to worry, NMC is going to kind of break that paradox as we offer a great way to kickstart your career. Again, I'll get more on that later. So there are off-island internships in state colleges that are highly recommended for off-state learning in terms of engineering. So I've compiled here the top six best off-island universities for engineering. We have Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Stanford University, University of California, Berkeley, California Institute of Technology, Georgia Institute of Technology, and University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm not 100% sure. So let's move on to our next topic, the skill set of an engineer. You are going to literally need the skills to pay the bills. Am I right? So what are the skills an engineer needs to succeed? So the engineers need to be adept in the following. Industry. You need to know what you're working for because every engineer is going to be specified towards a certain job. So for example, mechanic engineers are specified to do automotive repairs to damaged cars. But they can also, mechanics can also be applied for aerospace technology or just fixing an airplane. So that's why there is a specific profession for each engineer. It's quite unique for each engineer anyways. Next is project management. This is something that kind of bothers us all. We've all procrastinated in our lives. All right, don't give me that. Oh, I've never procrastinated. All right. So, but it does really come in handy if you know how to manage your time, because project management involves planning ahead and creating contingencies. So planning ahead for projects, because a lot of projects involved in engineering are thinking about the bigger picture. And when you go according to that plan, it eventually does pay off. But sometimes, things happen, bad things happen, especially, and your design, in a sense, fails. So that's why you must create contingency plans in order to be ready for whatever it may be. Next, we have teamwork. All right, I know there's one YouTuber out there. His name is Michael Reeves. He is an engineer, and he's overall knowledgeable about a lot of tech-related and mechanical-related stuff, because he's done robotics, he's done computer science, yada, yada. The point is that he is the only person doing that engineering in his channel. And because of that, if you go search up Michael Reeves, it takes usually about 6 to 7 months for him to upload one video. He is pretty funny though, so I'll give him that. So the importance of teamwork and communicating is for the sake of you being able to manage a project and getting it done efficiently and successfully. Next is creativity. In my opinion, this is the most important thing about creativity, because come creativity comes innovation. And innovation is what led our society to evolve into a more modern world. And it's still evolving, We're still waiting on flying cars, but whatever. So the thing about creativity is that when you practice one skill, it becomes bland. If you keep, creating a car engine or a car skeleton, it's going to become bland. You're only going to know how to do that and nothing else. So you need to be willing to branch out and become creative. You need to think about what else can you do and how can you do it. And sometimes you don't even follow how certain things are built, because a lot of the times when something is told how it's built, it is told in a specific set of directions and instructions. But a good engineer knows how to be, or is very creative and is able to sort of weave his way through those instructions. He can ignore some, he can take some, and he can add some of his own. That is one of the greatest features of a good engineer. Finally, attention. All right. If you are planning on becoming an engineer, then bad news, you're going to have to pay a lot more attention to your teachers and your mentors, because when you're in an internship, they're going to ask you to make sure that you know exactly how something is done in a certain way. And especially in classes, you need to remember, if I put these two together, they blow up. All right, you don't want to do that. So you have to remember that. And teachers, especially engineering teachers, will tell you the importance of how dangerous engineering can be as a job. So attention is very important. Next slide. So now allow me to advertise how you can start at NMC, because believe me, I'm quite happy about the results of NMC and its new pre-engineering course. So speaking of which, next slide. So NMC offers a new pre-engineering emphasis for AA liberal arts students. I, for one, am an example of one of those students who transferred to pre-engineering. I used to be general liberal arts, but my mom called me hey, so you know about that engineering profession you want to do? I'm like, yeah, you want to do it? Okay. So, after some organization, I have recently transferred to the pre-engineering emphasis, and I will be taking EG 100 next semester. And that is available to all students. Thank you. Thank you. That is available to all students. And, one of the main things about becoming an engineer is that anyone can do it. All right. And that's very important. Just remember that anyone can be an engineer. So on top of our pre-engineering emphasis for liberal arts, we also have our new LSAM program, or a scholarship program. LSAM stands for Lewis-Stokes Alliances for Minority Participation. The LSAM program offers internship, scholarship, mentoring, job, and networking opportunities, all which is quite important if you ask me to, start your career as an engineer. So this will allow for the production of labor-skilled professionals in the understanding of building and infrastructure construction. The 2-year program can help students work as field supervisors for construction workers capable of reading and analyzing through detailed scope of work and construction plan. And that's not to say it also offers more than just construction, because there is more than just construction and civil engineering. Next. So that, in a sense, concludes my behalf of giving you guys the information of Engineering 101. But as for now, I would like to invite the beautiful Miss Velma Deleon Guerrero, the department chair, SMHA and coordinator, advisor for AA Liberal Arts with an emphasis in pre-engineering, and also my mom.
Want me to stand?
Just I think you're stand a little bit closer. You can go in front of the projector a little bit, or just stand right next to me. That's fine too.
Hi.
Let's keep a little bit of distance. So, I love my mom, but we must still follow the guidelines. But so essentially, she's here primarily to answer any questions. But before that, would you like to say anything brief before you answer any
I'm
questions?
so proud of my son. He did such an amazing presentation.
Thank you. I'm not quite done yet, so thank you so much, Mom. I love you.
Wow.
So, but is there anything else you would like to say?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for having the, this session today. I really appreciate it. You kind of are helping me out in the program by, talking about, this new emphasis. And so I hope that, a lot of you guys find a lot of interesting information and help motivate you and inspire you to, hopefully get into this, educational pathway, but also career pathway. And so this is brand new. This just started this past spring semester. And so this fall is its second semester. And, it's definitely a great need here at home. And so we want to be able to, build and encourage everyone who is interested in, a career in the STEM field, right? So it's not just engineering, but anything along the STEM area. So
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So, is there any questions anyone would like to ask? If you are in Zoom, please put your question in the chat and we will answer your question shortly. But as of now, anyone in the room that would like to ask a question? Anyone?
Oh, I have a question.
Sure.
So is there any, so you know how it's the pre-engineering program, do we connect with any college paths? Or like, kind of like social work, I guess? Do we have that?
That's a really good question, Ms. Malley. And the answer to that question is yes. So typically when we do like an emphasis, is, especially under the liberal arts program, the idea of your 2-year degree or an emphasis is to encourage you to move on to a 4-year program. And so right now we have a very strong relationship with the University of Guam, and University of Guam does have an engineering program. UH Manoa also has an engineering program. As a matter of fact, we have several students that have already transferred from the LSAM program to UH Manoa. Okay, and they're pursuing their engineering, degree right now. And then, it depends on colleges out there too, but we all colleges kind of work together to see how we can help students, have a smooth transition into, other 4-year programs. And so, yes, we do have a close relationship with other colleges and universities out there.
Any questions from the Zoom room?
Yes, we have one question here. Is there an internship course in the pre-engineering degree program?
Is there an internship course for the pre-engineering program?
Okay, so an internship course, it's kind of like a yes and no. The course that you may want to look into that will help you sort of prepare for, getting into like an internship, whether it's on campus or off campus, is NS 120. And basically, or even School of Education's research course. Both courses are basically research course. They teach you how to conduct research, read and interpret, data or scholarly journals. And what that does is it helps you sort of, it prepares you for, internship opportunities where you may be asked to, read professional journals and analyze, certain information or data, right? Numbers. And so that's a course that will probably help you prepare for any internship opportunities that you may get involved with or take part in. So it's not an internship course per se, but it's a course that will help you when you get, selected for an internship.
Okay, thank you for answering that question.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
Yes, well, sorry, we have another question in the chat. Will the courses be offered online?
Will the courses be offered online?
Okay, as of right now, it just kind of depends on, the semester, right? There's a lot of factors that involves in terms of how we offer our courses. Sometimes it's the availability of an instructor or, what's going on with the world right now. And so as of right now, we do have on-campus sections for that, but the department is working really hard to find other instructors or faculty who may be available to teach, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous courses.
Okay, thank you.
Another question.
Any more questions? Anyone from the room or
There's
Zoom?
another question.
There's another question. Maybe an introduction to engineering class.
So I know you talked about like the courses or like the good preparing for an internship. But my question is like, would there be like any opportunity for like, students in that program to like sort of not like intern, but maybe like I guess get guidance from like actual experts in the field, say you get people that come in. Let's talk about their experience.
Absolutely. That's a big yes. So in the event you take the EG 100 class, there's a portion of that course that brings in local engineers to the classroom, whether it's virtually or not. And that's a big part of the curriculum, is to bring in different types of engineers, and they get to share their expertise and their knowledge and their experience with the class. So that's a large part of EG 100 right now. And if I can just maybe include one little excerpt in that, or add something else to that. Not only do we have the Lewis and Stowe grant scholarship, the LSAM scholarship, but right now the college is working really closely with the Department of Public Works, and an additional scholarship is actually in the groundworks to offer pre-engineering majors additional financial assistance. And with that, if you do avail of the scholarship, a part of the agreement is for our pre-engineering students to be partnered with an engineer or an agency where you get to shadow them, you get to learn the ropes, and they provide you that experience, even if at the internship level. but at least you can add that to your resume. And as you go through your educational journey, you're going to continue to build on those experiences, making you like ready for the workforce and after you graduate. So yes, we're very serious about helping you guys further your career.
Thank you. We do have another question from the Zoom chat. Is there going to be an introduction to engineering class in the future?
Yes, EG 100 will be offered this spring semester. I am very close to locking down an instructor right now. This person is reviewing the curriculum because it's going to be the very first time it's going to be offered. It's going to be built from the ground up. And so, you know, there's a lot of thought that needs to go into it, right? Consideration, and it will be offered this spring. Right now, the schedule, if you look it up on the website or the portal, it's scheduled for Saturday at 9, but please know that we're still, there's time to make modifications or changes, but let's just kind of cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? Yes.
I've always wanted to ask, like, you know how we've had a lot of additions to our majors, like since like 2 years ago, since when I was here.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to ask, like, what's the story behind, like, what made you guys want to add more pre-engineering? Like, I know, like, we need more, but like, I want to know, you know, like behind the scenes of how
Yeah.
this came to be.
Oh my God, that is such a great question. And it's one question that I'm excited to answer. And so, so when we, you know, one day I was in my office and this Hawaiian lady walks into my office and she goes, I'm serious. She just came up to me. She goes, you need to offer a pre-engineering program. And I'm like, who are you, right? But this person is the CNMI's partner or contact or liaison from the main sort of federal office in Honolulu. Okay, so she's like our federal partner in terms of anything that has to do with engineering here on island. So from transportation to buildings to any type of infrastructure, we tap into our federal partners in Hawaii. And our contact there at the time, her name was Bode Morris. She is from I think South Carolina, but she was based in Hawaii. She looks Asian, but has a very Southern accent. I just love that about her. And so she came in with our folks from the Department of Public Works, and they were like, we need engineers on island, only because they work with the Department of Public Works who have their own engineers, but other private agencies too, or private like engineering firms on island, and they see that the CNMI does not have enough. And not only that, we have engineers who are getting ready to retire, and they really wanted to build capacity here in the CNMI. And so they reached out to NMC to see if we can put a program together. And I've been working on that since then, and it's finally happening, and they're so happy because they were able to then turn around, write a grant to help support this up and coming scholarship that will help pre-engineering students with financial needs. And so that's kind of where we're at right now.
That's so cool. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting such a wild story.
Right?
I'm glad I asked it.
She just came in and she's like,
Oh,
you need to offer this.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
but they
much.
were so supportive, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for asking that. Oh. Okay. Sure. Okay, all right. All right, any other questions?
Yes, we have another question in the chat, Will.
Yes.
It's, are there any immediate benefits such as job placement or increase in salary with getting the pre-engineering degree?
Are there any benefits in related
Job
to
placement.
a job place, such as job placements and scholarship opportunities in terms of getting the pre-engineering
Yeah.
course?
Okay, so there's two. Well, one, we already have the scholarship, the LSAM grant. And then the other one is this scholarship that's, coming down the pipeline. We're working out the details. Soon we're looking at signing a memorandum of understanding. And that scholarship will then be available to pre-engineering students. So there's two scholarships that students can avail of. Okay. Now, in terms of job placement, job opportunities, if you participate in if you avail of the grant, we have not just the government agencies, but the private firms who are standing by to receive you as their interns. And guess what? Sometimes, most especially in the private firms, if they have the funding, they would be willing to pay you. So that's three sources of funding right there. Two guaranteed, but one, right, depending on their availability of funds, they may be able to provide you with a stipend if you work at their office as an intern. So yes. Yeah, so their goal is to, help you, mentor you, give you as much exposure and experience so that when you graduate and you come back, they know who you are, they know how you work, right? And so it's a very smooth transition to returning back from college and landing a job.
Yeah, thank you. Any more questions?
Well, I do not have any more questions in the chat on my end.
All right, thank you for letting me know that, Keith. All right, so thank you so much for
Thank you.
being our guest speaker. Her contact information is there in case you need to ask her any more questions. I know her schedule, just don't email her in the weirdest times, like in the middle of the night or something. All right. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us, including our guest speaker and the astounding Dr. Galvin Deleon Guerrero for joining us
Yes, thank you for joining.
on an unexpected surprise, I'll be honest. Please scan the QR code. In that QR code, there will be a survey. Key, if you would be so kind enough to put in the chat the link to our survey. And for our participants in Zoom, just access that link and you shall be directed towards the survey. Yeah, but thank you again for everyone for attending.